morning guys, today I find myself in Sardinia to try the new Suzuki 800D. D stands for Dual Explorer, and if we have to compare it to the previous models, this time Suzuki wants to make a bike that's a bit more for off-road. In fact, we see that we have the front 21-inch wheel and rear 17-inch wheel. I'm really curious to try this bike because I know that anyone that has been a Vstrom user generally is in love and continues to buy this bike. I personally like the new design, especially I think these two lights and this configuration is really cool. And by the way, being so small, I believe maybe I could put these on a rally kit, but we'll see. Nevertheless, let's get our helmet and go test the bike on road and off road. Okay guys, we're at the end of this test of the Suzuki Vstrom 800D. As I mentioned, D stands for Dual Explorer, but the question that everyone is asking, can this bike really compete with the other adventure bikes in the market? I must say this is something different. It's a bit unique because speaking with the engineers, we asked them why the choice of 21-inch on the front wheel and 17-inch on the rear instead of 18 like, you know, most standard adventure bikes. They told us the reason is that all Vstrom owners in the years generally use it primarily on-road. This is a bike that is not so used off-road, but Suzuki wants to make a step, you know, towards bringing its customers to explore more, so to go off-road, and they didn't want to do an extreme change, especially for those owners that really love it on-road. In fact, I must tell you that when riding on-road, this feels better than any other adventure bike I tried. I think because of the 17-inch wheel, but also because of its engine. It's very, very smooth, but you can play with it. It's fun, especially then off-road. I completely deactivated the traction control. I put map A, which is the more aggressive map, removed the ABS, and I could drift through turns on this very tricky terrain. The gearbox is a 6 gearbox. You have 6 gears. This means that you have a good range. Generally, you're riding mostly in 3rd, 4th gear, but I also tried to ride in 5th and 6th, going lower than 3000 RPM to see how the bike would react. And I must say, it was incredible that even at 2500 RPM, when opening the throttle, you could still make it go back up without the need of using the clutch. And another thing I enjoyed was the handlebar position. I thought it made it very easy to ride entering the turns. On some sections, I was almost going straight. I mean, I was a bit too fast, went onto the brakes, obviously deactivated the ABS, traction and everything. But thanks to the handlebar, it made me do the turn. I mean, I felt confident in leaning the bike down. Suspension-wise, I closed completely the rear shock and front suspension. I completely closed the compression and also stiffened the rebound, and it made it a lot better. I didn't have a lot of trust on these tires, but they impressed me because as you'll see from the onboard footage, the bike was pretty solid on the road, on the off-road, and I could enter turns even when I was a bit too fast. I always managed not to crash, so that was good. What I have to say on this Suzuki model and who is it targeting? I believe this is the ideal bike for someone that always used bikes on the road but wants to do a small approach to off-road and is looking for a bike that is easy to ride and that it lets you still enjoy, you know, the road part, whereas other adventure bikes, I believe, are a bit more extreme, are more for off-road use primarily rather than this. I personally love the design. I really appreciate the twin lights, very small, compact, and the windshield. The windshield can be adjusted. You have 30 millimeters where you can adjust it. You'll need to use tools because you have 3 holes here where you can place it up or down. Then also as optional, you can have a lower seat than this, a 20 millimeter lower seat, but also a 30 millimeter higher seat. For me, this was extremely comfortable, even though I'm pretty tall. I'm 183 centimeters, and yeah, I really enjoyed the bike. I just wish they gave us to try this bike with the proper off-road tires, because I believe many people would be impressed by its capabilities. It's a bit a shame that it's not so much marketed for off-road use, but I believe that if you have the chance to try it, you'll really enjoy this bike if you're looking for a let's say, a light off-road adventure. Light, not because it's 230 kilograms, which can be scary, but since the center of gravity is very low on the bike, you really don't feel it. When I was riding off-road and, you know, skidding everywhere, I didn't feel all this weight. I almost felt it lighter when riding than other lighter bikes. But yeah, if you want an adventure bike to use on road and to do some nice off-road of gravel roads, I think you will be very satisfied with this bike. And as I said, I love the looks of it, so you know, then that's up to you. Obviously, other than the bikes we tested in yellow, there are other 2 colors available. One is here, I think midnight black or something like that, and the gray, which personally I really like. I think it looks cool with these yellow details. If I had to choose a bike, this would be the color I'd choose. I would change the exhaust. It doesn't make such a big sound, but this is good because it's Euro 5, so if you're in a city, this is something surely good compared to putting an aftermarket exhaust. Anyway, this is all for this test. Stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe on my channel, to follow me on Instagram, and I'll catch up with you in the next one. Ciao!